No war on Venezuela. No war on Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela.
U.S. out of 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 Venezuela.
We have gotten together to condemn the illegal actions of the U.S. government, put together with corporate Democrats, the mainstream media, and neocon liberals have remained silent or continue to support the coup attempts in Venezuela. Those who claim to want to save the poor people of Venezuela are the same people assisting the criminal dictatorship of Saudi Arabia in bombing and starving men, women, and children in Yemen. We need to confront these mercenary politicians, neocon liberals, and mainstream media wherever and whenever we find them. Medea Benjamin is an example of what we need to do. Medea Benjamin has been at every meeting of Pompeo, Mike Pompeo, Elliot Abrams, and other war criminals who continue to exacerbate the situation in Venezuela. No to U.S. sanctions on Venezuela. No U.S. sanctions on Venezuela.
No U.S. sanctions in Venezuela.
No U.S. sanctions on Venezuela.
No U.S. sanctions in Venezuela.
No U.S. sanctions in Venezuela.
No U.S. sanctions in Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela.
No war 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 in Venezuela.
U.S. out of 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 Venezuela.
Trump no, Maduro yes.
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 We have gotten together to condemn. I'm going to say several times, guys. If somebody wants to say something else, let me know. Don't say it again. Oh, we have gotten together. This guy is telling me not to say it. He's saying it's garbage. Bullshit. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Bullshit. Vende patrias. Vende patrias. Vende patrias. Venezuela out, U.S. out of Venezuela. 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 We have gotten together to condemn the illegal actions of the U.S. government, put together with corporate Democrats. The mainstream media and neocon liberals have remained silent or continue to support the coup attempt in Venezuela. Those who claim to want to save the people of Venezuela are the same people assisting the criminal dictatorship of Saudi Arabia in bombing and starving millions of men, women, and children in Yemen. We need to confront these mercenary politicians, neocon liberals, and mainstream media wherever and whenever we find them. No U.S. war on Venezuela.
No U.S. war on Venezuela.
No U.S. war on Venezuela. No U.S. war on Venezuela.
No U.S. war on Venezuela.
No 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 war on Venezuela.
U.S. out of 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 Venezuela.
No Trump Maduro, yes.
No Trump Maduro, yes.
No Trump Maduro, sí.
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 Trump out of Venezuela.
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 We have gotten together to condemn the illegal actions of the U.S. government, put together with corporate Democrats, the mainstream media, and neocon liberals have remained silent or continue to support the coup attempts in Venezuela. Those who claim to want to save the people of Venezuela are the same people assisting the criminal dictatorship of Saudi Arabia in bombing and starving millions of men, women, and children in Yemen. We need to confront this mercenary politician, neocon liberals, and mainstream media wherever and whenever we find them. No war on Venezuela. No war on Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela. No war on Venezuela.
U.S. out of 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 Venezuela.
Those who claim to want to save the people of Venezuela are the same people assisting the criminal dictatorship of Saudi Arabia in bombing and starving millions of men, women, and children in Yemen. We have gotten together to condemn the illegal actions of the U.S. government, put together with corporate Democrats, the mainstream media, and neocon liberals, and remain silent or continue to attempt to continue to support the coup attempt in Venezuela. We need to confront this mercenary politician, neocon liberals, and mainstream media wherever and whenever we find them. Media Benjamin is an excellent example of how we need to confront these people. She has shown us the way. She has been at every meeting of Mike Pompeo and Elliot Abrams, two war criminals that should be in The Hague instead of being representatives of the U.S. government. Again, we need to condemn and confront these mercenary politicians, neocon liberals, and mainstream media wherever and whenever we find them. Medea Benjamin is the best example of what we need to do. She has been disrupting every meeting of the war criminal Elliot Abrams, who is Trump's envoy to Venezuela, and Mike Pompeo, his criminal secretary of state, two criminals who should be in The Hague or should be at Nuremberg for their crimes in the past against Latin America. No U.S. war on Venezuela. No U.S. war on Venezuela.
No U.S. war on Venezuela.
No U.S. war on Venezuela.
No U.S. war on Venezuela.
No 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 war on Venezuela.
U.S. out of Venezuela.
U.S. out of Venezuela.
U.S. out of Venezuela.
U.S. out of Venezuela. U.S. out of Venezuela. U.S. out of Venezuela. U.S. out of Venezuela. U.S. out of Venezuela. U.S. out of Venezuela.
No war on 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 Venezuela.
We have gotten together to condemn the illegal actions of the U.S. government, who together with corporate Democrats, the mainstream media, and neocon liberals have remained silent or continue to support the coup attempts in Venezuela. Those who claim to want to save the people of Venezuela are the same people assisting the criminal dictatorship of Saudi Arabia, involving and starving millions of men, women and children in Yemen. Also, these are the same people as the Israeli government who continues to kill men, women and children in Palestine. We need to confront these mercenary politicians, neocon liberals and mainstream media wherever and whenever we find them. Medea Benjamin has given us an example. She has disrupted every meeting of the criminal Elliot Abrams, assistant envoy to Venezuela, and Mike Pompeo, Secretary of State for the criminal attempts of the Trump administration. Okay, we have Margaret Nelson, who will give us a few words. She is representative of the Northside Neighbors for Peace.
Not a message, I'm going to give you a chorus. The chorus is, stop the war, bring back the heroes now. The Democratic Party called me yesterday. The Democratic Party called yesterday. Democratic Party called me yesterday. Money for school, babies and moms, join in money for school. Babies and moms, Money for seniors, babies and moms. Don't waste tax dollars buying missiles and bombs. Just stop the war, bring back the Bill of Rights now. Executives been using these wars as an excuse. Executives been using these wars as an excuse. Executives been using these wars as an excuse for low-down, dirty Constitution abuse. Just stop the wars, bring back the Bill of Rights now. CIA walking in the middle of the night. CIA stalking in the middle of the night. CIA knocking in the middle of the night. Abduction and torture, you know it ain't right. Just stop the wars, bring back the Bill of Rights now. FBI walking so early in the day. FBI stalking so early in the day. FBI knocking early in the day, harassing peace activists. What do you say? We say stop the war, bring back the Bill of Rights now. So it's land of the brave and home of the free. Land of the brave, home of the free. Land of the brave, home of the free. Won't you Democrats stand up for democracy? I say stop the wars, bring back the Bill of Rights now. Stop the wars, bring back the Bill of Rights now.
Yeah! Okay, now we have John Beachem from the Answer Coalition who is going to give us some words. No war on Venezuela. No war on Venezuela. No war on
Venezuela.
No war on
Venezuela.
Hands off.
Venezuela.
No war on
Venezuela.
Hands off.
Venezuela.
U.S. out of.
Venezuela.
No war on
Venezuela.
Hands off.
Venezuela.
U.S. out of.
Venezuela.
Hands off.
Venezuela.
No war on
Venezuela.
U.S. out of.
Venezuela.
I can't hear you. U.S. out of.
Venezuela.
Hands off.
Venezuela.
U.S. out of.
Venezuela.
No war on.
Venezuela.
Hands off.
Venezuela.
U.S. out of.
Venezuela.
No war on.
Venezuela.
Hands off.
Venezuela.
No war on.
Venezuela.
U.S. out of.
Venezuela.
My friends, we are again taking to the streets to oppose an illegal and criminal war by the people running this country in Washington, the people running this country in the Pentagon, and the people running this country on Wall Street. Just a few short years after the United States lied to the public about weapons of mass destruction and destroyed Iraq and killed millions of Iraqi people, and Iraq is destroyed, and we spent trillions of dollars on that illegal war. 5,000 U.S. troops died and many hundreds of thousands were wounded. We're back here again, only this time a more obvious attempt.
Successful
As
attempt.
long as I've been doing this, I still hit the button. Attempt to illegally, based on lies, overthrow another sovereign, independent government. We have to do everything we can to stop this war, this impending war. We have to say no to the provocations. We have to say no to the lies. The people of Venezuela are counting on us. The people of Latin America are counting on us. The people of the world are counting on us. The U.S. war machine is the greatest threat to humanity ever. Just yesterday, Trump declared that he's going to have a space force and militarized space with nuclear weapons. This is not
We don't have a choice, my friends. We have to come out no matter what you think of Venezuela and what you think of the government there. This is red alert time. This is an emergency situation. We have to build a movement that shakes the foundations of this society, shuts down the war machine, and says money for jobs, healthcare, education, and the things we need, not for war.
Yeah.
And I want to say one last thing at least. The food aid, quote, food aid, that was shipped down to the border of Venezuela and Colombia on military aircrafts, food aid that's only enough by their own admission to feed 2,000 people, is a weapon. Everybody's admitting it. The media is admitting it. The United Nations is admitting it. The Red Cross is admitting it. That food aid is meant as a precursor to a war. The head of USAID, which is really the CIA, which is really like the quote-unquote humanitarian arm of the CIA. Well, the head of the USAID went down there with the military shipments, Mr. Green, and you know what he said? The person who's bringing the military shipments, he said Maduro must go. That's exactly what he said. Those food shipments are about illegal regime change. The United States, the country that's destroyed Iraq, that's destroying Yemen, that destroyed Afghanistan, that tried to destroy Vietnam and Korea and so many other countries, cannot be allowed to carry out interventions in other countries. The United States, Washington, Wall Street, and the Pentagon have no right to dictate to the people of Venezuela and to dictate to the people of Latin America. And they're only telling one side of the story. Right now, as we speak, every single day, there are mobilizations across Venezuela of mostly working class, poor, people of color, and queer people to say no to this intervention. The people of Venezuela, 80% of them, are against U.S. intervention. And I said I was going to say just one last thing, but I want to say one more thing, because I think this is very important. In Venezuela, under the governments of Hugo Chavez and President Maduro, a war on poverty has been carried out like it's never been carried out in the United States. I won't go through all the facts and figures, but we should tell people about this. 2.5 million families in Venezuela live in government-paid-for housing. It's free. That's close to 10 million people. That is a quarter of the population. If this government were to build that many homes here, you know how many homes that would be? That would be about 60 or 75 million homes the government built and sheltered people in. That's what they've done in Venezuela. The other thing is that the government feeds 6 million families. Did I say this? 6 million families. That means that 1/3 of the people in Venezuela get good quality, very, very cheap and affordable food. If the United States of America did that, you know how many people would be getting good, affordable food in this country? Quality food, enough food to sustain themselves and more? 100 million people. So that's another reason why we got to say to people, hands off Venezuela. You can't have Venezuela Trump. You can't have Nicaragua Trump. You can't have Cuba. Long live the people of Latin America. And I know. I am helping to build for a national march on Washington, D.C. on March 16th. We are organizing buses from Chicago that are leaving March 15th. We have leaflets circulating. Please get one of those leaflets. Consider coming on the bus with us or getting there your own way. We're bringing people from all across the Midwest and all across the Eastern Seaboard to Washington, D.C. on March 16th. And the organizer of the protest here, Stan Smith, a longtime friend of ours, said that we can actually appeal to you to help some young and fixed income people get on the bus. So right now, Don, who's standing up over here, and Patrick, who's somewhere, they're going to be circulating through the crowd. And if you have $1, if you have $5, if you have $10, please, 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 please contribute, because we've got a bunch of young people on our scholarship list, and we've got to get them to Washington, D.C. No one who wants to go to Washington, D.C. to protest this criminal regime and criminal war on the steps of the White House should be left at home. You can also go to GoFundMe and look up the Chicago bus to the Hands Off Venezuela demonstration. You can go to the GoFundMe and donate at the Hands Off Venezuela Chicago bus. Thank you very much. Let's keep building, sisters and brothers.
Thank you, John. U.S. Hands Off Venezuela.
U.S. hands off Venezuela.
U.S. Hands Off Venezuela. Venezuela!
U.S. hands off Venezuela!
U.S. hands off Venezuela!
U.S. hands off Venezuela!
Now we have Erica from the Freedom Road Socialist Organization who's going to give us some words. Welcome, Erica.
Hi, everyone. How are you doing? Hey, okay. When Venezuela is under attack, what do we do? When Venezuela is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When Venezuela is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When Venezuela is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When Venezuela is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When Venezuela is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
So my name is Erica, and I am with Freedom Road Socialist Organization, an anti-imperialist, anti-capitalist organization. And I'm out here today to just offer my solidarity with the Venezuelan people, with the Venezuelan state, and to let you all know and remind you all, especially people who are passing by, that U.S. intervention never works. In Syria, did it work?
No!
Did it work in Iraq?
Hell no!
Did it work in Afghanistan?
No!
Did it work anywhere?
No!
How about in Israel? How about in Palestine?
No!
Yeah, that's what I thought. So I'm not really sure why people think it might work this time. As anybody who's reading the news can see, this is all an orchestrated attempt to make another Latin American government a puppet of the U.S. government. What do we say to that? We say no. No war on Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela!
And let me give you a little bit of a Chicago connection to all of this. So I'm also part of a campaign called CIA Off Campus, UIC. It's an organization of UIC students, faculty, staff, and community members who are once again mounting a fight on the UIC campus to get CIA recruiters out. Do we want CIA on our campuses?
No!
And do you know what the CIA said when they did their first recruitment event? Number one, they said this partnership is a partnership because UIC has a lot of diversity. And we know what diversity is code for. It's code for using people of marginalized identities against their own communities. So these CIA recruiters are specifically looking for Spanish-speaking and Arabic-speaking students that they can recruit. And this is from the recruiter. He said, to work in Syria and Venezuela. The CIA is actively and openly recruiting intelligence agents from UIC to go to Venezuela and disrupt their government. What do we say to that? No. Do you want the CIA recruiting in Chicago?
No!
Do you want CIA recruiting our Spanish-speaking students at UIC?
No!
Do you want our Spanish-speaking students at UIC to be recruited to go disrupt a Latin American government?
Hell no!
No, no, no. So I just wanted to bring you that Chicago connection because UIC has a long history of kicking the CIA off campus. A few decades ago, a faculty and student and community-run organization helped get CIA off campus at UIC before. They held sit-ins, people were arrested, they were kicked off campus, and they were able to get CIA recruiters off campus for a number of decades. And we have to do it again, and we need your support. So please go on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, find CIA Off Campus UIC, and like it, share it, and make sure that people know that this is going on in our own backyards. Because we know that Maduro is a democratically elected leader, and we know that the government of Venezuela is a sovereign nation, and that the U.S. has no right to be there, and that no matter what lies are being told on the television, the U.S. is not going to help anyone in Venezuela. The Venezuelan people have all they need to be able to build their society in the way that they want to, and it is not up to people here to decide what that looks like. So let us give our support to everyone in Venezuela who is working so hard right now to fight off the U.S. dogs, to fight off this incursion. And remember that from Venezuela to Palestine, occupation is a crime. From Venezuela to Palestine, occupation is a crime. From Venezuela to Palestine,
occupation is a crime.
From Venezuela to Palestine,
occupation is a crime.
From Venezuela to Palestine.
Occupation is a crime.
From Venezuela to Palestine.
Occupation is a crime.
All right, thank you. My name is Erica from Freedom Road Socialist Organization and from the CAA Off-Campus UIC Initiative. And thank you all for being here today.
Thank you, Erica. No war in Venezuela!
No war on Venezuela.
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 We've gotten together to condemn the illegal actions of the U.S. government, who together with corporate Democrats, the mainstream media, and neocon liberals have remained silent or continue to support the coup attempt in Venezuela. Those who claim to want to save the people of Venezuela are the same people assisting the criminal dictatorship of Saudi Arabia in bombing and starving millions of men, women, and children in Yemen. We need to confront these mercenary politicians, neocon liberals, and mainstream media wherever and whenever we find them. Medea Benjamin is a clear example of what we need to be do. She has confronted Elliot Abrams, a war criminal in Latin America, and Mike Pompeo, as Secretary of State for Trump. They have blood in their hands. Let's remember, Venezuela has the #1 oil reserves in the world, greater than Saudi Arabia. And Trump, Pompeo, Bolton, they have said, we want to invade Venezuela because of their oil. So we'll say, no war for oil.
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 From Venezuela to Palestine.
Occupation is a crime.
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 As somebody mentioned before, the U.S. aid of $60 million does not compare to the $80 billion that the U.S. have frozen from Venezuela. China and Russia have provided 900 tons of aid to Venezuela. The U.S. aid, who is trying to be forced down the throats of Venezuela, is nothing but a Trojan horse. We know that. We know that the aid is fake aid, and the concert organized by the oligarch Branson, Sir Richard Branson.
Fuck the royalty.
It's another pretext from the world oligarchy to take over Venezuela. So we say, no war on Venezuela.
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 Okay, we have another speaker, Andy Thayer.
Liberation Network in Chicago.
From the Liberation Network and Chicago Committee Against War and Racism will give us some words.
Thank you very much. That's the Gay Liberation Network, for those who are keeping track. I'm so glad that this demonstration is being organized, because I'm old enough to have seen the lies over and over again that are used to sell U.S. wars. I'm old enough to remember back with the threatened invasion of Iran in 1979, after the taking the U.S. hostages there from the CIA-affiliated embassy. And we're going to have someone up here in just a few moments going to say a few more words about that. The important thing to remember is that time and time again, they lie about why they're going to invade. Does anyone believe anything that Trump says?
No!
So why should we believe him when he says he wants to help the people of Venezuela by threatening to invade them, by putting sanctions on them? Why should we believe him now? Why are the liberals, as my friend here has pointed out so time again, why are the liberals suddenly believing what Trump has to say when he says he wants to support and to help the people of Venezuela? It's a tissue of lies, and they're fools enough to pretend to believe it. We saw with the invasion of Afghanistan that was supposedly done to help the women of Afghanistan. And now we've got U.S.'s longest ever war in its own history, by far. We've seen the disaster that is Libya, where slavery has broken out after the overthrow of the Gaddafi government there. We've seen over and over again the United States has no compunction about supporting the most brutal dictatorships, not just in Saudi Arabia, but in Egypt and elsewhere. So when they say they're doing something to help the people of the region, we know that they are lies. But more than that, there is a reason why the United States has got fourth and fifth rate social services in every single respect. A previous speaker spoke about all the public housing that has been built in Venezuela. There's a reason why we're not building public housing in this country. It's because all of our money goes to war and Wall Street.
Whoa!
So we have to say, hands off Venezuela. It doesn't matter what your analysis of the Maduro government is. We have seen time and time again that when the United States invades, the situation in country after country gets far worse. More people die, more people starve, and we're here to say, no more. We won't fall for your lies this time. So finally, I'd just like to hand the microphone over here to a good friend of mine, Sean Reynolds, who is with Voices for Creative Nonviolence. Sean is catching a flight to Tehran tonight as part of a Voices for Creative Nonviolence delegation to speak out against the U.S. sanctions, to speak out against the U.S. threats of war against Iran. So let's give a big, warm welcome to Sean Reynolds of Voices for Creative Nonviolence.
All right!
I'd just like to start off by announcing that by my own decree, I am now the President of the United States. To the world community, I say that in defense of democracy, you have to cross our borders whenever you want.
All right!
They took a long time. By the way, Medea Benjamin will not be bird dogging Elliot Abrams and Mike Pompeo this week, as she's going to be with me in Tehran and Isfahan all this week. They were very frightened to let us in. I've been telling people they're a lot more scared of me than any of us should be frightened of visiting. They let Kermit Roosevelt in 1953, nephew of the president. And it was weeks later that they no longer had a democracy, because we've been doing this coup routine for quite some time. I don't have that much more to say. I tell people that we're safe in Iran because Trump isn't going to bomb us until he's through making Venezuela into a bonfire. We should look... Anyway, I'm going to wrap that up. Thank you for having us. And what do you say these things? No war in Venezuela!
No war in Venezuela!
No war in Venezuela!
No war in Venezuela!
No war on Venezuela!
No war in Venezuela!
Thank you.
Woo!
Yeah.
Sean Reynolds for president. Welcome, Sean Reynolds, president of the U.S. Welcome, Sean Reynolds, president of the U.S. He has replaced Donald Trump, who is an illegal president, who was not voted by a majority of Americans.
What?
No war in Venezuela.
I've never been to Iran.
U.S. hands off Venezuela.
Hands off Venezuela!
No war in Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela!
U.S. hands off Venezuela. No coup on Venezuela. No coup on Venezuela. No coup on Venezuela. No coup on Venezuela. Why don't know that Maduro is see? Why don't know Maduro see?
Why don't know Maduro see?
Why don't know Maduro see?
Why don't know Maduro see?
Why don't know Maduro see?
Why don't know Maduro see?
Why don't know Maduro see?
Why don't know Maduro see?
Why don't know Maduro see?
Why don't know Maduro see?
No war in Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela.
No war in Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela.
No war in Venezuela.
No war on Venezuela.
We've gotten together to condemn the illegal actions of the U.S. government, who together with corporate Democrats, the mainstream media, and neocon liberals have remained silent or continue to support the coup attempt in Venezuela. Those who claim to want to save the people of Venezuela are the same people assisting the criminal dictatorship of Saudi Arabia in bombing and starving millions of men, women, and children in Yemen. Same thing for Israel, who continues to kill men, women, and children in Palestine. We need to confront these mercenary politicians, neocon liberals, and mainstream media wherever and whenever we find them. Medea Benjamin has given us some examples. She has disrupted meetings of the war criminal Elliot Abrams, who has blood in his hands from Latin America in the 70s and 80s. Also, she has disrupted meetings of Mike Pompeo, who is nothing but a puppet of the military-industrial complex, and who, together with Trump, would like to steal the oil of Venezuela. Everybody knows that. Venezuela has the #1 oil reserves in the world. Venezuela has the #1 oil reserves in the world, ahead of Saudi Arabia, greater than Saudi Arabia. So to Trump and to Bolton and to Pompeo and to Elliot Abrams, we say, no war for oil.
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 No war for oil. No war for oil. No war for oil. No war for oil. U.S. out of Venezuela.
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 U.S. out of Venezuela. Trump, no, Maduro, yes. Trump, no, Maduro, sí.
Steve Livingston from the Chicago Anti-War Coalition will now give us a statement. Please welcome Steve Livingston from the Chicago Anti-War Coalition.
Thank you. All right, I'll just do this. Okay, this is a short statement from the Chicago Anti-War Coalition. On behalf of the Anti-War Coalition, I want to say that it's great that we're publicly opposing the U.S. government's crimes against Venezuela. We're part of the many protests that are being held across the country and in other countries today and tomorrow. Now our challenge is to go out to other people in the U.S. who are not already part of the anti-war movement. The best support we can give the people of Venezuela and other people under attack by the U.S. ruling class, is to win the battle for public opinion and have people pour out into the streets and build an anti-war movement that will be for an anti-war government. To help do this, the Chicago Anti-War Coalition has a flyer with questions that are being passed out. Please take some to use for discussion with other people who are not yet part of the movement. And come to the Anti-War Coalition's forum a week from Sunday, March 3rd, for discussion about opposing U.S. interference in Venezuela and to oppose the summit of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization that is to be held in Washington April 4th. This forum will have a lot of time for discussion of the situation we face, not just speeches, and what to do. It will be at the Sulzer Library, Montrose at Lincoln, Sunday, March 3rd, 2 o'clock. Thank you.
Woo! Time for another song, I think. This one, it's got a simple chorus. Get the money man out of Congress. Get the money man out of Congress. Get the money man out of Congress. They're doing bad business there. Try that. Get the money men out of Congress. Get the money men out of Congress. Get the money men out of Congress. They're doing bad business there. Way down yonder in Washington.
Quiero una guerra civil en Venezuela.
¿Por qué no hablamos en público?
Okay, pero hables allá, háblenlo allá. No queremos guerra civil en Venezuela. No queremos un golpe de Estado. Venezuela como una herramienta, por favor. Lo que estás diciendo, voy a Maduro, voy contra
Citizens, please take note. Politicians who pretend to be patriots are making it harder for us to vote. Get the money men out of Congress. Get the money men out of Congress. Get the money men out of Congress.
Información, por favor, es propaganda. Esto es propaganda, haciendo que el público que hay una guerra en Venezuela. Informe lo que está pasando. Eso no es propaganda. Léelo. Ya lo leí.
Ok.
Usted no quiere. Ayúdenos a ¿Quieres patrocinar Sí, claro. Los blancos son los que tienen los Tú eres blanca, tú tienes los Usted no apoya, pero mira la noticia de los que ella se apoya a Trump, por favor. ¡Viva Bolivarian Revolution!
Lo que apoyamos es a nuestro país y le doy la bienvenida. No tiene que ver con no tiene que ver con
trompistas. Ustedes son trompistas. Trompistas. Estás polarizando la situación, por favor, señor. Estás polarizando. Trompistas. Sí. Trompistas tienen que
es político, ¿verdad? Es propaganda.
Sí. Y ustedes que son Maduro, por favor.
Somos venezolanos.
Ya, déjalos que hablen solos.
40 years ago, we should fight to be independent. We had a revolution against the Shah, the US-backed regime, against the US-backed regime. And imperialism doesn't like it. Imperialism doesn't like independent people, independent nations.
Can I speak?
And now,
I'm Justin Goldberg. I'm with Extinction Rebellion
in
Chicago.
Venezuela, the same story. We observe the same story. Interventionists must be stopped. Hands up Venezuela.
Extinction Rebellion.
Hands up Syria. Hands up all the world. Let people decide own. Thank you very much.
Hands of Syria!
Hands up Syria.
Hands of Syria!
Hands up Iran.
Hands of Iran!
Hands off Iran.
Hands of Iran!
Hands off Iran.
Now we have Justin Goldberg with the Extinction Rebellion, who's gonna give us some words.
All right, thank you everybody for being here. I don't have a lot to say. We all know that this war is about oil. We know that Venezuela has the largest oil reserves in the world. We cannot let the U.S. government exploit this oil, or it will be the death of us all. We are already facing a climate crisis. That's why I'm with Extinction Rebellion Chicago. We are demanding climate truth. We are not going to put up with the government and the media ignoring this reality of climate change anymore. And we stand with the people of Venezuela against this illegal coup, which is just for the continued tyranny and extraction of these dirty fossil fuels, which are going to be a death knell on all humanity and all these living species. I did not plan to speak. I am so impassioned, I'm feeling so passionate today, seeing all of you out here for hours at a time in solidarity with Venezuela. We've seen this over and over and over again in Iraq, in Libya, in Guatemala, all through Latin America and all around the world. And we cannot stand to see it happen again. No war in Venezuela! No war in Venezuela! No war in Venezuela! No war in Venezuela!
No war in Venezuela!
Thank you, Justin. Again, we have gotten together to condemn the illegal actions of the U.S. government, put together with corporate Democrats, setting the criminal dictatorship of Saudi Arabia, embalming and starving millions of men, women, and children in Yemen. Saudi Arabia, who has killed journalists in their consulates. Saudi Arabia, who continues to bomb the people of Yemen. We need to confront these nations, neocon liberals, and mainstream media, wherever and whenever we find them. Medea Benjamin has given us a couple of examples where she has disrupted meetings of the war criminal Elliot Abrams, Mike Pompeo, who have
I
just think that... Are you for the head of the U.S.
No war on Venezuela.
Military plane?
No war on Venezuela.
I'm not going to say that.
No war on Venezuela.
I want you to quote.
I'm not doing it.
No,
I'm not doing it. And I said I'm not performing in front of your child.
Well, why would you come out here to stop this demonstration?
Why would you bring your child out
at
here?
this demonstration. You can't tell me where I can take my child?
I'm not
You're
sure.
trying to tell me because I don't speak Spanish, I can't be...
You said because you don't speak Spanish, you can't be against it. I just said that you should, yes, and I think that you should actually reconsider your role.
This coup attempt is nothing but an attempt to steal the Venezuelan oil.
I think there are more ways to come and we can
Join us.
But you should leave us the opportunity. We were trying to talk to organize for this to see if we can have more voices about this issue, just to make you understand our point of view. And we can hear your point of view. That's all. I don't think we have to fight. If we're out again, we don't need to fight about
I've been in
it.
many demonstrations.
No war on Venezuela.
On your side, opposed to us.
If you want one example of criminal dictatorship You
I'm
only
for
have to
trying
look
to
at
find a
Israel.
common battle that we can all understand and just trying to understand
Men,
our
women, and Palestinian children.
But
It
it's
has
not
nothing to
polarized
do
in that way.
with
It's polarized. That's the thing.
Tomorrow
Why isn't there
It's not-
in terms of what's going to happen in Venezuela.
Juan Guaido attended American University in Washington,
Here's
D.C.
the question. I don't understand.
It's not Maduro saying Trump no. That's not it. That's not it. That's what they're shouting here.
Guaido is a puppet of the American military. He's been
Everyone
bred
says
for
that.
over a decade. He went to college at an American university. Mike
American
Pence
universities all over the fucking world.
in an American university in Washington,
That's like saying
D.C.
that people that live in Beirut are like fully radicalized by America.
Vice President Mike Pence called him the night before he declared himself president of Venezuela.
You know who else
He is a
supports him?
puppet of the United
Every
States
other-
military.
Yeah, have fun using Venezuela as a tool.
U.S. out of Venezuela. U.S. out of Venezuela.
There are other people here who probably don't like Maduro.
Sure, but that's not
because like the Spartacus League is here selling their paper, and then I'll bet you that their paper says Maduro isn't communist enough. You know that he should arrest everybody. That he should do what our government is accusing him of doing. I know because they were around in the 1980s. When I was marching against Salvador and the Contra War.
No war on Venezuela.
No negotiations.
No war on Venezuela.
No, they say let's look for a common battle, but you're standing in opposition to us.
Yeah.
What is the?
No war.
Nobody's trying to give money to the Maduro government. I mean, okay,
No war on
Maduro sees it,
Venezuela.
right? But still, that's an opinion. Nobody that opposes the
We
sport
are
is demanding
gathered
that
together
the
to
U.S.
condemn
give money to the
illegal
Maduro
actions of
government.
the U.S. government.
But we're giving money to Honduran
Trump.
government. They got a hell, and even if the
Joking.
Maduro government is as bad as our government says it is, Honduran government has a hell of a
The
lot worse human
mainstream
rights record.
pro-war
And that was a
media.
U.S.-backed coup. Oh, I'm sorry, that was a coup that wasn't a coup. But they have not had an honest election since 2009. And they're doing a lot worse here,
in Venezuela.
I mean,
And over here, they're saying if they were listening to me speak, it's like I'm using Venezuela as a tool. I'll say, sure, I'm using Venezuela as a tool to make sure that we recognize as humanity that we cannot keep using fossil fuels. Yeah, that's how I'm using Venezuela to shine a light on this situation.
The invasion of Syria. And now
I mean, we
they
can
pretend to
criticize
invade
Venezuela on that front.
Venezuela.
Ideal, we should all be, the whole world should be moving towards
We need to
sustainable
confront
energy. But
these
to
mercenary
enable them
politicians,
to do that,
neogun war
oil is the only
liberals,
weapon they have
and
to
pro-war
defend
mainstream
themselves
media.
against
Whenever
the
and
U.S. and their
wherever
allies.
can.
Then, hey,
Medea
I can't
Benjamin
fault
has
them for
given us
using it.
a few
I
examples.
mean, it's,
She has disrupted
and I've talked to
meetings
Venezuelans
of the
who
war criminals.
agree with
Elliot
Goldberg
Abrams,
resolution. It's
who
like,
has
well,
blood
yeah,
and
that's a
American
legitimate
blood in his
concern.
hand.
We would like to do
He has
that, but
also disrupted meetings
if
of
the
Mike
United States is
Pompeo,
trying to overthrow
who
them,
has
it's hard for them to do
said
research to
that what they want
find
is
better ways of
Venezuelan oil.
fueling their
So,
industry.
we need to
their
confront
homes.
these politicians.
Yeah,
and
that's why the
liberals
United
and
States needs to
media.
be leading the way on renewable and sustainable energy, rather than crumbling and forcing the crumbling of the economy in all these foreign countries.
Yeah.
No war on Venezuela. No war on Venezuela.
Thank you for sharing your experience.
Yeah. I marched against Central American shit in the 1980s. Yeah, I admit it, I'm biased.
No war on
My views
Venezuela.
are leftist, I admit it.
U.S.
But
out of
I'm not
Venezuela.
nobody's telling me to do that. I'm
U.S.
not-
out of Venezuela.
I mean, my view of left-leaning
U.S.
Latin
out of
American governments is
Venezuela.
more positive than a good
U.S.
American is
out of
supposed to have. I'm not uncritical of them.
We are
But
here
basic question,
to tell
why do you think it is that even
Fulton,
though, I mean, even a
Elliot
lot of
Abrams,
liberals, I mean,
Mike Pompeo,
might
and Donald Trump
defend Scandinavian
we
countries
oppose
that have implemented some policies that you could call socialist.
interventionist action
even people that are right of center here make snide remarks about Scandinavian governments like Sweden, Norway, for implementing some policies that could be called socialist, but they don't send net in there to throw money all over the place to right-wing parties.
And this despite all those nations ranking higher than us and beating us in rankings that they consider important.
Exactly. And they don't threaten them with invasion if they don't change their ways. Why do you think it is that if a Latin American country tries to implement a few policies that could be called socialist, but immediately they start a smear campaign, they start throwing money around the right-wing parties, threatening them with invasion. All we're going to hear, see or read for an indefinite period of time after they attempt to implement some of these policies is that all we're going to hear is that they're a bunch of assholes from that point on.
They're more emboldened than ever. We've already heard John Bolton go on television and say this is going to be great for Citgo and great for American oil companies. He's saying it out loud.
They're openly admitting that this war is about oil. So really, seriously, even if you want to believe a lot of this bullshit about Maduro, and you know, there probably are people in Venezuela and Cuba who are in jail who shouldn't be. But there's people in jail here that shouldn't be.
More than any other nation. We lead the world in prisoners.
Yeah. Well, all right, some of them really did commit crimes, but shit, I mean, there are political prisoners right here in the U.S.
Right. And we still have, we still have Guantanamo Bay open, which every country around the world has called to close for decades. And that's just the one that everybody is familiar with. Imagine how many more black states there are.
So should the rest of the world impose sanctions on us for Guantanamo? I mean, seriously.
Right. Our government has inflicted harm upon our civilians with the deteriorating quality of water.
No shit.
Not just Flint, but thousands of cities like Flint.
And Native American reservations.
Right.
There's a Navajo reservation where that same shit's going on.
So should Russia bomb us because we are causing harm to our own people?
Should there be an embargo?
By our logic, by the U.S. logic, we should be being attacked.
The way that we treat Native American nations, communities that are poor, communities of color, especially communities that are both poor and non-white.
For sure.
Like Inglewood. I mean, should there be boycotts against us people because of that? I don't doubt that valid criticism can be leveled against every left-leaning government in Latin America, but does that make them tyrants? No. I put any U.S. president in a situation they're in and convince me that if you put any U.S. president in those kind of situations that we're imposing on those Latin American governments, that they would react even more tyrannically, that civil liberties wouldn't suffer even more. Because it's happened. I mean, during the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln is probably the most admired U.S. president. I mean, up to a point I have to say, but he took measures that are undemocratic under ordinary circumstances. There were some, especially near the Maryland border, because there are a lot of Southern sympathizers there, and near the Virginia border, there were measures taken that under ordinary circumstances we would say are undemocratic. But we still admire Abraham Lincoln as one of the better presidents.
No war in Venezuela.
I'm going to walk over.
Okay. Thanks for talking. Jerry?
Yeah.
Justin?
Yeah.
Nice talking with you. Hey, check out Extinction Rebellion and Extinction Rebellion Chicago.
I'm sorry, Extinction Rebellion?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
XR Chicago.
No war in Venezuela. No war in Venezuela. U.S. out of Venezuela. U.S. out of Venezuela.
So I was just talking to one of the organizers of today's event, and I think it's important for people to know that demonstrations like this are not happening just here in Chicago, the Midwest, but over 120 cities around the world today and tomorrow. 120 cities standing up for Venezuelan sovereignty. So give yourselves a big hand for that. Woo! 120 cities are standing up for Venezuelan sovereignty today, saying no U.S. invasion, no U.S. intervention. Let the people of Venezuela decide their own fate.
Intervention. Hello, I'm the Chicago Area Peace Action at DePaul University. Imperialism must be resisted everywhere. People need to be able to resist their governments if they want to, without U.S. influence and military pressure. U.S. influence in Yemen, Israel, Palestine, Venezuela, and all over Latin America and the Middle East throughout history has been detrimental to their societies. Let people decide for themselves. If you're interested, Chicago Area Peace Action has a peace summit on April 6th. It's a Saturday at Loyola University. You can come up to me if you have any questions about it. Thank you.
Chicago Area Peace Action is present here. If anybody wants to Chicago Area Peace Action, they're here and they're going to have a summit. April 6th. Saturday, April 6th. No war in Venezuela.
No war in Venezuela.
Hands off Venezuela!
Okay, compañeros, we are about getting ready to wrap this up. We know that actions will continue, and we will continue to oppose the interventionist actions of the U.S. government. But, as you can see, our numbers are decreasing, and we don't want to keep everybody too much longer. We're going to be here 5 more minutes, and then we're going to disperse. I want to thank you, everyone to come and show your support for Venezuela, your support for democracy, your condemnation of U.S. actions, interventionist actions. So we're going to be here another 5 minutes. We're going to chat, and we're going to go. No war in Venezuela!
No war in Venezuela!
U.S. out of Venezuela!
U.S. out of Venezuela!
Trump no, Maduro sí!
Trump no, Maduro sí!
Why no, Maduro sí! Trump no, Maduro sí!
Trump no, Maduro sí!
U.S. out of Venezuela!
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 No war in Venezuela!
No war in Venezuela!
No war in Venezuela!
No war in Venezuela!
Okay, compañeros, I think we are getting ready to go. Thank you! Thank you! Viva Venezuela!
Viva Venezuela!
Viva Maduro!
Viva Maduro!
Down with Guaidó!
Down with Guaido!
I know, that's the puppet.
Hasta la victoria siempre!
Hasta la victoria siempre! Venceremos!
And don't forget, for next steps, March 16th in Washington, D.C., and also here in Chicago, Saturday, April 6th for the Peace Summit at Loyola University. Thanks for coming out today.
¡Maduro! ¡Coño a tu madre! ¡Maduro! ¡Coño a tu madre! ¡Maduro! ¡Coño a tu madre! We Venezuelan people want freedom! No, there isn't a single Venezuelan here! There isn't a single Venezuelan here! The only Venezuelan here is me! Alright, the only Venezuelan here is me! And Maduro, coño de tu madre!
Get the fuck out of here, asshole!
Se ve el 8 nuts. Colonizado.
I mean, we agree on most things that
Pues eres 8 nuts.
everyone here. What do you mean? I'm one person.
Okay, okay.
You need an ID to talk to me?
You wanted to talk to come and yell to me on that?
No.
You want anybody to come and yell to me on that?
No, but you're yelling too.
Well,
You're yelling.
I lost it.
Several
I lost
times.
it, yeah.
Several times.
No, well, he's an asshole.
I don't know him.
Well, look at him. Look at him.
And you want more to die. You want more to die. You want more to die over oil. You want Iraq 2.0. Tú eres la perra, papá. Let's see why you guys gotta let people walk through. You guys gotta let people walk through here. Come on. Tú eres, papá. Tú eres. La derecha para abajo. La derecha para abajo. You guys gotta let people walk through here, okay? Para carajo la derecha. Para carajo los neonazis. Que van para carajo. ¿Ok? Saca el bicho. Saca el bicho. You don't know what's going on, brother, man. This is some real ass shit, man. This is some racist ass shit. I'm fucking supporting this Anglo ass shit. I'm being gentrified out of fucking neighborhoods. What do you think? What do you think? Can you fucking find an apartment? This is the glory land? Fuck this place.
I get you. Fuck this place. But don't, like...
Fuck colonialism,
don't
man.
take it
Fuck
out
all
on
that
him.
shit, man. Fuck him. He's the one that came up to us. He came up to us.
I get that.
What
but
you
like,
talking about, man?
I
That
know,
peace shit,
but-
man.
Okay, but like...
Is this peace? Is this peace?
I get it. But whether he swings first or whether
No,
you
no,
swing
you don't
first,
even know what's going
you know
on, man.
which people the cops are
You
going
don't
to
even
side
know.
with.
What am I doing?
That's
What the hell am I
That's true.
doing?
That's true, but what
When I'm speaking real shit. I'm speaking research. I'm speaking research. I'm speaking research. You can research. You go to the library. You go to Harold Washington Library right now. And look up colonialism. Come on, man.
Yeah, but the thing is like sometimes you have to respond to this hassle. And you know, and yes, I agree with you. We know the cops are probably going to be on their side. They're going to arrest them. I've seen that. But you know, once in a while, you have to say, get the fuck out of here.
I get it. No, I understand.
Yeah.
Like when he's like, well, when he starts walking away after he's done screaming, just let him go.
Yeah, I let him go.
He's not going to cause any more trouble.
Yeah,
if you
no,
just
I let him.
go.
I didn't follow him.
I mean, they're allowed to
Get out of my face.
You just can't block the side.
That's all.
Yeah, man. This is on.
And the thing is like, that's what they do. They come here to promote.
I'm just trying to listen in on all these conversations at this point.
What's your name?
My name's George.
George Victor. Where you with?
The demonstration is over. It's interesting because one of the officers here said one time he said disperse, as if he was going to break us up, but then backed off because I guess they're most concerned, which is good. They're most concerned about having a clear path.
Of course. That's what he said right now. He's like, you guys can protest whenever you want, just don't block the path.
Right.
Okay.
Right. No, the police here today have been very good at just maintaining a presence here to make sure that no violence is happening and everything is going smoothly.
Of course. As they should.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wrong dude to bully. Wrong guy to bully. Wrong guy to bully. I'm not like that. I do research. I go to Harold Washington and I read the books in Harold Washington Library. That's what I do.
Message Dan. Oh, do you have my phone?
Yeah. Well, Kevin gave us the land code.
I don't know. Like that wasn't the only guy causing trouble. I try to de-escalate shit, you know.
Right. No, I get it. I can't take that shit. It pisses me off too much. I always take the bait. Especially when people are just like, it really pisses me off when people think that they're like fighting for peace, but they're really fighting for war.
I mean, that's the story of the human race, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, you're right. There are always going to be.
At the end of the day, like, we don't solve anything by screaming at the guy. You know, like, that dude doesn't work for Guaido. He doesn't work for the CIA. He's just some guy.
Right. Well, you never know. But you're probably right. Yeah, Alex is at for grandmas.
Oh. I thought you
Okay, so that about wraps it up.
Hey, what did Miles say? Democracy comes from the barrel of a gun.
I'm interested to hear some of these conversations that are lingering on.
Well, that's
But, for the most part, everything is over here. And I do feel a little bit just recording people's conversations when they think they're speaking privately. So I'm gonna cut it off here, and I may be doing a reflection video on this later. But for now, I'm gonna call it. And this was definitely a sight to see, the place to be tonight. You heard that demonstrations like this are occurring over 120 cities across the country today and tomorrow. So keep your eyes out for coverage of that. If you're somewhere that has a demonstration going on tomorrow, which would be February 24th. No, February 23rd, Saturday, February 23rd. Please get involved and come out against the U.S. coup and illegal war in Venezuela. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Justin, and I'm just in it for the justice.